The recent Extinct Marine Species Pack, or more specifically Free Update 7 for Jurassic World Evolution 2, made two major improvements to lagoons in the game. The addition of social animations to the majority of the animals, not sure why most of Entylo got ignored, and a new lagoon-specific attraction with the Lagoon Viewing Dome. This made the animals more interesting to watch and let us get a little closer to them to see those new animations in better detail. But I think for a lot of people, the update fell a little bit short in terms of bringing lagoons level with the rest of our parks. So, that's what we're going to talk about today. Ways to further improve lagoons in however many updates the game can still squeak out. I do feel we're at the beginning of the end, but with much sadness, but there's life in the old bird still yet. First up then, let's talk about lagoon decorations. This did get a hefty update in the past with the addition of lots of rock and coral formations, along with some pretty cool individual pieces like the Indominus Rex skeleton and the Jurassic Park 3 boat. If there's one area though this feels undeveloped is in the foliage. Despite these decorations and the new viewing dome, which definitely helps, lagoons feel a little bit barren. There's a lot of empty water. What would go a long way to fixing this is a lagoon-specific foliage brush, or even just placeable foliage like we have in the decoration tab for the rest of the park. Imagine seeing your Dunkleosteus slink between a forest of kelp, hunting in the shadows, or lily pads, or swathes of seagrass and some rocky outcroppings. Real-world aquariums often combine flora and fauna at a much greater scale than we see in Evolution 2, and it'd be hard to look at images like this on the screen right now and not think this would be a gigantic improvement in the colour, variety, and visual intrigue of our lagoons. Secondly, somewhat on that same topic, the ability to control the water a little in our lagoons would go a long way. I think most of us would appreciate it being a little bit clearer at times, a little easier to see through, but you could go even further into that Planet Zoo direction and have multiple colours of water. Dark blues, light blues, even some murky greens and browns would create the feeling these animals live in different habitats and regions rather than the fairly homogeneous looks we've got at the moment. Combine this with the aforementioned kelp forest idea, for example, and suddenly your lagoons look entirely different and much more individual than they do at the moment. I basically thought of this as I was writing the script, but I'm really hooked on the idea now and would love to see it come to life. I really want to see our lagoon creatures swimming through this like green water, kelp forest kind of thing. Fetish has been unlocked. Third up is something I've been talking about for approximately 1,000,000 years, but I will talk about for 1,000,000 years more. It's how I'm going to survive forever. I still think we need a lagoon tour vehicle. I don't want to be unappreciative, we just got a free new attraction that I really like and think is a big plus, but a submarine tour would be a whole new kettle of fish. Pun. Sort of. I think the issue with this is probably something to do with Lagoon Animal AI and collisions and stuff like that. But they didn't have social animations for a long time either, and Frontier made that work, so hey, why not dream big, eh? A submarine tour would be the very best way to experience these animals and finally give lagoons parity with both the terrestrial exhibits and the aviaries. I can see setting the track being a little tricky. Evo 2 doesn't have vertical functionality in that way at the moment, but I think even if it was a set level loop halfway up your lagoons, people would be thrilled to have it in the game. And of course we do already have a canonical submarine design thanks to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Fourthly, and we're getting into the slightly more optimistic stuff here, I'd still love to see some form of interaction between lagoon animals and the wider world. This update is the closest we've got thanks to that Archelon and Nophosaurus climbing onto the lagoon rocks, but imagine if your Nopho could grab visitors walking by if they were kept poorly, or if pterosaurs could swoop down and peck at your Archelons on the rocks, behaviour we see in real life with turtles and seabirds. And of course, as always, a Mosasaurus leaping into the air to feed on a pterosaur a la Jurassic World would be awesome. I'm by no means saying any of this would be easy to do. I'm not a game dev and it still sounds like an absolute nightmare to me. But the pterosaur interactions that we got in Jurassic World Evolution 2 with the dinosaurs and with the humans is one of the very best things they did in the sequel for me, and it gives those pterosaurs so much more life and individuality, and I would love to see that same care and attention given to our wet beasts. Finally, with the Marine Species Pack, Frontier introduced the Lagoon Rock platform, and it's really cool, probably my favourite part of the pack and one of the best changes lagoons have had in a long time. It makes them much more visually interesting from the surface, which has been a bit of a long-standing problem in my opinion, and the pillar also makes the underwater look a little bit more interesting as well. We've finally got a little verticality in our lagoons thanks to that and the viewing dome. So let's push it a little bit further. I know for a lot of you, and myself, one of our first thoughts seeing this was the possibility of crocodilians. The likes of Deinosuchus and Sarcosuchus have been wanted for yonks now, but haven't really worked in the existing Evo 2 systems. Now we have something designed for them, a way to make amphibious animals function properly. I'd love to see this system expanded to include larger rocks, swampy stretches of land, maybe above water feeding systems for those amphibious animals. It's okay if it's a set looped animation like it is at the moment. Being able to drop from this swampy glob of crocodilian filled mud down into a murky kelp forest below would be incredible, even with limited animations, as well as again making our lagoons look so much more interesting and opening the door to a lot more species. The major problem with this, I think, is probably how often lagoon animals currently breach the surface, but that's something I think really needs toning down anyway, particularly with the likes of the Archelon, which just looks really weird when it comes to the surface of the water. And that is really my top 5. There's certainly more beyond this, more interesting lagoon wall designs rather than just all this sort of boring looking concrete, a shark tunnel attraction, more varieties in lights, like some taller ones would be nice, a ranger post for the lagoons so you can drop that huge hatchery. This was a suggestion I saw on Reddit, which is really smart. And how about lagoon creatures attacking viewing galleries if they're upset, rather than fruitlessly bashing themselves against a concrete wall? There's a lot of scope for improvement here, most of which seems immensely unlikely, but we always live in hope. And if I had to bet on any of this appearing, it would be some form of flora decoration for the lagoons. I can see potential for a kelp forest brush at some point down the line, and I think it would be really cool if we got that. Which of these would you want to see integrated into the game, and do you have any bonus ideas of your own? Let me know down below in the comment section, throw me a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more Evolution 2 and dinosaurs and yada yada yada. Everyone loves the yada yada yada. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you lovely folks very soon. Cheers, much love as always. Bye bye.